Record video. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I firmly believe it was because we broke Twitch with our 2 viewers, so... No, there's no content available, sweetie, because, like...
refreshing the page, so I'm not getting any.
I was trying to find out if it's on the channel. I don't know. But yeah, we found out the other day that I can record. I can go live here. I can record. I can't post on Twitch because I don't have enough subscribers yet. And I think you need like 50 subscribers. Or I thought I was more popular than that, and I think I have like 6. So...
I'm bored as hell.
I'm bored as hell.
I want to make friends.
Yeah. I don't really want the monetary aspect of... Because you get so many people subscribe to your channel, you can get like money for it. I don't really want that.
Right at the verge of that.
My husband was on a Twitch channel. He doesn't want to talk about the name of it, but he did have a Twitch channel like way back in the day. So close. And life happened. Which sucks.
I was a luchador, and y'all didn't know it.
He was a luchador and y'all didn't know it, apparently. I don't know what that means.
It's just the only clue.
Yeah, so anyways. And I don't believe his screen name was the American Dream Musty Choads either at the time.
And it wasn't
Jeffrey
Dark either.
Dark either, so I don't know. But at any rate, yeah, he's... It's a long time ago.
So close.
He was so close. So close. Anyways. So I did find that out. I found out I could record here, post it on YouTube. So if you missed last week's show, it'll be on tonight, streaming currently on YouTube. And if you missed this show, because you're too busy watching that show, this show will be on the following week. So always thing on each channel, so.
Your face on.
But you get to enjoy this one live.
You're here.
If you're here,
If you're
which
not.
I see 0 viewers, and I don't blame y'all, because my husband's on.
It's just spinning refresh.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I don't pretend to understand computers anymore. I went through, got my certification and stuff, and I don't know what's going on. Sorry. And some of you know I am very pregnant. I'm going to show my bump this week because every time I get up to move, it's time to use the restroom, and it's not.
And it's piss of
It
30.
Yeah, and I'm done. I don't want to get up anymore and have to use the restroom. Also, it's an ordeal. I run weird. It's just not pretty, but.
It smells fun.
But yes, I am 36 tomorrow. My husband and I had our baby shower over the weekend. It was really fun. Well, you know what? It was nice seeing a lot of people at the baby shower and learning things about pregnancy. Mostly that there is quite a difference between people who choose your standard OB. Medical, like your standard medical doctor, your standard like general practitioner, your standard OB-GYN, you know, that type of thing, versus midwives. Which those who have like handled my entire pregnancy have been midwives. Because like I found out a bunch of stuff that scares me. Like, oh yeah, if your baby's not flipped, you know, you're just gonna have a C-section. No, actually, you can go into your special that you can your
brought in and encouraged by the said midwife.
And it's something that the midwives encourage. They're like, oh no, they're like,
do it all the time.
They do it all. They're like, we do it all the time. They're like, yeah, I mean, but you don't even have to worry about it because you should be flipped by this point. If you're not flipped by this point, you can see the doctor and they will flip him or her. Or if you don't know, just the baby. So And then I'm hearing a lot of talk about inductions. I'm like,
No.
I don't know why I would be induced. Wrong. I mean, if like things are going the way they should be going, dilation, all that stuff, I really don't need the induction. Yeah, and then I had somebody point out, like, so something that's super, super gross. It's not super gross, but I had a hard time with it. Is the fact that my feet got so swollen. Okay, like, so bad. And it sucks to look at. Okay, very self. Well, okay. My husband says they're really not that bad, but for somebody with a viewpoint, always felt like she was a obese person, super fat, like disgusting Jabba the Hutt size. It always bought like the one that I was always proud of, that my feet always looked like they were, you know, thin people feet, right? Because I know like that one body that they're at least something on me looks good, you know? They're like, I'm really proud of this.
Something you're proud of.
Yeah, something you're really proud of. Doesn't matter your size, but you're super, super proud of that one point on your body. And for me, it was my feet. Super proud of them. And I woke up one morning and they literally looked like marshmallows. Like gigantic marshmallows. I couldn't wear my normal shoes. I had like from sand. Okay. I've never had cankles. I had cankles. I was so upset with myself. So yeah, I went into, you know, I've been like, oh, it's the heat, you know, it's normal. Your blood pressure's fine. There's no like, yeah. There's no protein in your urine because that's another way that they look for toxemia or preeclampsia. They're like, just your water. It's super hot out. Keep taking your little baby aspirin that's supposed to help with this. It's like, okay, cool. Then I get to a baby shower and the woman was like, okay. They're like, oh, she's got preeclampsia.
She ain't got shit.
I'm like, no, you're not a medical doctor. Maybe back in the day when you went to you were pregnant, that was what it was. But I'm looking out and I'm like, okay, so I'm looking at my legs. And I find out from my mother that my father also had swollen feet that day. Because it was 90 degrees. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then, like, is Dad pregnant? By the way, my dad could be pregnant. Just because he doesn't have the right body parts to be pregnant.
It's not this time.
Not
at this given point.
Not at this given point, you know?
So chooses, go for it.
I mean, maybe in the future, technology, I don't know. But, no, there's no physical way my father could have been pregnant. So, it was totally it's hot as balls kind of situation. So, but it irritated me so bad. I was it irritated me.
We can cancel this whole thing. We send everybody.
I'm like, let's just send everybody home. I keep doing that because I'm angry about it, but I'm not anymore because I had a good conversation with my husband and a good conversation with my mother, and everything's cool and fine. Now, I did get angry at a family member. My husband's like, oh, don't mention it. He's like, don't worry about it.
It's age.
Well, okay.
Age and generation difference.
The thing that upset me was
that's all.
I had given them permission to touch my body. Okay, I was okay. But it was like 90 degrees. I was tired. My feet were swollen. You know, freak show. And she goes to say goodbye to me, and that's fine, you know, because she's leaving. She got me some good gifts. Actually, I didn't get her gifts until the day after, and she was worried. She was saying, hey, didn't you get anything make sure you're home. I'm like, I'm at work. I can't. There's no way. He'll be home though, so gifts will be taken care of. Anyways, she reached out and touched my belly. I'm like, oh.
She didn't like it.
I'm like, wow, okay, so I gave you permission. Like, who? I gave you permission the last time you saw me. Because it was the first time you've seen me pregnant in the entirety of my pregnancy. Cool beans. But, I don't recall saying it was alright. I mean, how sister even asked if she touched my stomach? You know? So... 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be okay with it, but like, ask first? This is just rude.
Motherfucker.
Just ask. Okay? If you ask me, I'd probably say yes and be okay with it. You don't ask me, I'm gonna be angry at you. Anyways, so today's movie that I'm talking about is, because last week I made it point to say that I was going to be working on short films that became feature-length movies instead of actually working on. Just tired.
And it's just something you want to do.
And it's just something I want to do, you know?
Fuck you if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Find an old one. Good luck.
Yeah, find an old episode. If you're like, oh, I don't really like this, then give me something to that's like.
Nah, we're gonna do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Your channel did something.
Exactly. Last week we talked about Saw Point 5, or just Saw as it was.
It was. It just was.
Was.
Because Saw is backwards as was.
This week we're talking about Monster. Monster was the short that became Babadook. Or The Babadook, I should say.
Or as I call it, Baby Dookie.
Which, if anybody can explain to me exactly why the Babadook is a gay icon,
We're just
I don't... I've had a thought process on this. My first was that Netflix accidentally put it in the gay stories category. Because that happens sometimes. They accidentally do stuff. My other thought process was the idea that the Babadook is in the closet a lot. The symbolism there, I don't know. I don't have anything against the Babadook being a gay icon.
No,
I think it's cool as hell.
to be something.
I just understand.
I want it to be a thing.
Yes.
Not necessarily a.
Yes, I want to understand why they have. Why, like, the world's decided this. So, okay. If you know, let me know, and I would appreciate it so much.
You went in the next minute and say people saw Billy on a tricycle.
Oh, yeah, before I forget, my husband showed this to me the other day. Not the other day, it was earlier today, I believe. Mezco, who does a lot of really cool, like, horror action figures, is doing Billy the Puppet on his tricycle.
I don't know what scale was, but
No scale is on, but it
detailed.
looks ridiculously detailed. So if you get a chance to look it up online, it's a gorgeous piece. Pre-order it if you want it. I'm kind of tempted to get it, but I don't even know if I'd want to, like, keep it in its box, you know? I'd be playing with it everywhere. I'd put it in, like, random places in our apartment and be like, how to play the game, Jeff?
You know me. I'll be like, yo, you want to get crazy, little puppy? I'll start taking my clothes off, get butt naked. Let's rap.
Right?
Oh, little man.
Not the best. Monster short. So this is from 2005 when Jennifer Kent, who directed The Babadook, did Monster over 50 festivals around the world. And in 2014, 9 years later, it was adapted into The Babadook. And I went to Wikipedia and I found some interesting facts about her. She began her career as an actress. She was in a series called Murder Call and played Constable D. Suzerain. And the series ran for 31 episodes, which is... He lost interest in acting, fair enough, and decided to become a filmmaker after seeing Dancer in the Dark. And Dancer in the Dark is a movie that was directed by Lars von Trier, starring Bjork.
Yeah.
It was part of his trilogy, which I didn't look up, what were part of his Golden Heart trilogy, because I was like, you know what, I don't really need to know that. But if you're not familiar with Lars von Trier, let me tell you about him. Did the movie Nymphomaniac, Melancholia, The House That Jack Built, Antichrist, Nymphomaniac Volumes 1 and 2.
He likes extremist horror.
Yeah.
Borderline. He's on the between mainstream horror.
Yeah, he's like a mainstreamy extreme horror person.
Kind of Eli Rothy.
Kind of.
Without the color scheme.
My husband doing Eli Rothy without this color scheme. But like Lars von Trier, the first movie I remember seeing of him was Antichrist, and that movie is so fucked up.
It's good though.
It's so good. It starts off with a couple having sex and their toddler dies. The couple goes off to the woods to reconnect, and things go fucking crazy. There's a scene where the woman, like, I can't remember exactly what she does to the husband, but the wife ends up cutting off her own clitoris with scissors, and it's like they don't stop, they don't shy away from the violence in that. It's so graphic. It's a lot of blood. I heard the houses that Jack built, like there were people who actually left the theater when they were streaming in the festival. So angry about it. So anyways, yeah, Jennifer Kent reached out to Lars von Trier and was like, "Can I study with you?" And he was like, "All right." How fucking crazy is that? Like, that would be the equivalent of my husband reaching out to Tom Six and being like, "Hey, so I want to work on movies."
I don't have no experience.
I have no, like,
I just kind of want to think.
I saw Human Centipede. I really want to work on movies with you. And Six being like, "All right."
Yeah, him or Fulci. I can't. I don't.
Fulci's still alive.
I don't think Fulci's here with us, or Romero, and I can't do Romero, obviously.
Right, but yeah, that's like the equivalent, I think.
Tom Six, drink please.
So, and that like really like just boggles. And there's a few other directors that I looked at on short films who reached out to larger name directors.
It's like second or third in a row, huh?
No, this is my first, but this was like the Saw one didn't have anybody.
Oh no, that's yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah, Saw didn't have anybody.
About the other film, that's why.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about the other film. No, Saw didn't have anybody. But yeah, I was just like, that is fucking
Saw
crazy.
just took forever.
That is crazy. I'm on the movie Dog, and turns out, last little bit of information I found out was she met Essie Davis, the actress who played the mother in Babadook through drama school.
She's
So
amazing.
I was just like, that is so crazy to me. Like, I was so baffled by the Lars von Trier thing, to be honest with y'all. I was just like, what?
I want to point out the actress in the Babadook that played the mom. Holy shit.
The actress who played the mom.
Shit.
You know what? I wonder if she's done other roles than that.
There was like, in horror, we had like two really strong mom roles.
Yeah.
Between her and the mom from Hereditary.
Oh, dude.
Get two big, better actors. Oh my goodness.
People were so, like...
She should have got.
Oh, people argue that. Yeah, hang on. Hold on.
That woman is.
Are you talking... Well, both mothers.
Yeah.
Cast.
I can't think.
I can't think of the name either, and it's right there. It bothers me. Toni Collette.
Yeah, Toni Collette.
Toni mother in Hereditary. My God. My God.
But this is the Babadook.
But we're talking about this lady in the Babadook, and she was phenomenal. She was phenomenal in this. She's not in the black and white monster short feature-length film,
Right.
but the woman who plays the mother in the in the short is just as
Absolutely
phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm just saying, holy crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of roles like in horror movies that you're just so impressed by them, and you kind of feel like so angry when snubbed by the Oscars or whatever award.
The young man that just did Candy.
Oh yeah.
Should we talk about gentleman that got snubbed?
Yeah. And he's
we know why he got snubbed.
Yeah.
Let's color that cast and direct it.
But you know what? Sequel, because it's not a fucking remake. It's a goddamn sequel. True sequel to the fucking movie. And I will argue anybody who says it's a remake.
Fucking director
It's
himself
not.
said it was a fucking sequel.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not a remake.
Sequel and homage.
All were stupid and thought it was a remake.
I
No.
knew better,
Came in, and they were like, no, Candyman's a sequel.
I said, this is gonna rock. Fuck off.
They're like, sequel.
Nope.
I should talk about it at some point. Anyways, I'm trying to talk about Babadook.
I'll be
I'm sorry that I am off topic here, and I'm talking about other horror movies.
passionate about horror.
I'm just really passionate about horror movies. But my husband's right. And speaking of Candyman, and I found that Clive Barker, who inspired his story, The Forbidden, inspired Candyman, actually done a short film, 2 short films. I can't remember the first, but one of them was called The Forbidden. And I found pieces of it on YouTube, not the full movie.
Anybody has the full one.
So if anybody's access to the full one, I would love to watch it. I would love to see if it's actually supposed to be like a predecessor for Candyman or what it's supposed to be. Because I've heard mixed things about it. Because yes, you know, from the synopsis about it, it's an artist who sells his soul.
I'm not into piracy, but I will want to.
I actually heard we can get copies of that on a deluxe version of Hellraiser.
Let me know when it is because you know my obsession.
I know. We'll figure it out.
I'll cut a left pinky off or anything related to candy.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. I don't know if it's like actually supposed to be Candyman, or if it's supposed to be like based on the short story of The Forbidden. I don't know how much of the Forbidden like really Candyman. You know?
Yeah, that's always a question. Because Clive Barker's work is so difficult to get a hold of.
Well, I know.
We'll
talk about the Babadook soon. Don't worry. But I know that most of his short stories that have been adapted into movies, they don't change it a whole lot. Because I'm kind of obsessed with watching his movies and from his short stories. And I know the original Hellraiser, Hellbound Heart, the novella, they followed that pretty fucking close. And by pretty fucking close, I mean any changes were done by Barker himself. He wrote the novella, he directed and wrote the script for the Hellraiser movie.
So you want to bitch about it?
So
that's on him.
Yeah, you want to bitch about the book to movie translation, bitch at him, because he's the one who did it all.
That's why he bitches that everything else sucks.
Yeah.
But
so
he said he corrected.
So that happened. Dread. The concept of Dread was there, but like certain elements from Dread were not in there. Because it's I'd have to get into a whole spiel about the movie Dread. But there were elements in the movie Dread that weren't in the book Dread, and there were things that were in the book Dread, the short story Dread, should have been in the book, in the movie. Midnight Meat Train was pretty close to the adaptation from short story to movie. Very close.
Yeah.
Very, very close. The book gets into a little bit more of the subterranean underground people than the movie did. But still. The Yattering and the Jack, which was an episode of Tales from the Dark Side. That was a pretty adequate short movie, like little short clip. It was good. The only one that they haven't really like hit the nail on the head with has been the Books of Blood. And that'll probably never happen.
Those are going to be hard to translate anyway.
They can take individual stories in the Book of Blood, which is what Dread, Midnight Meat Train, The Forbidden, and The Yattering and the Jack all are. But as far as like getting a actual like Books of Blood movie, the thing that links them,
no,
they're not going to do.
No, it would be messy.
Yeah,
you would have to read.
You'd have to retell stories. I would say the most recent iteration of Books of Blood was not a good movie because it was a good movie. It's an excellent movie. It's on Hulu. But the original Books of Blood that they had done, they didn't do it as well as they should have done it because it's a cool title. Because Books of Blood is a cool title. But the short story that they used for it is actually called On Jerusalem Street, which is the first story that kind of introduces the concept of the books. Because the books are supposed to be written on this human. Like, he fucks up, he's a charlatan, he says he can see ghosts, he says he can be possessed, you know. He ends up being a complete charlatan, doesn't actually have that ability. And he unfortunately gets into a house that's supposed to have like a lot of haunted, you know, a lot of spooky shit happening in it. And the ghosts get pissed off at him. They get pissed off at him. The house is a crossroads between the living and the dead. And they get super mad at the guy. And they end up all carving their stories on his flesh. And that is what the, you know, blood are. They're the stories that these ghosts have written on this young man's body. It would work better than the series, honestly. But anyway. So back to the Babadook. The Babadook was shot in black and white, which I enjoy black and white films. My sister and I have had a discussion about it, and she feels like it gives them kind of a dreamlike sequence. Which I'm like, oh, yeah, that's kind of dope, yeah. She's like, so anything you see in it, it's like extra creepy. Yeah. The monster opens up with a child jumping off a bed and playing with a crude doll. And he seems to be trying to kill it. Like, he's attacking it with little swords, he's putting a pot over it. A lot of stuff happening. The title sequence happens, and the scene after is a woman trying to stop a cat from eating a moth. The cat doesn't stop eating the moth, because it's a cat. And she heads upstairs to her screaming child's room. He's not in any danger. Some kids just make a lot of noise when they play. Just every spot in his bed. The bed. And the doll that he's hiding under the pot. She exits his room and is greeted by her son from an upper landing, because they're upstairs. And he says he's killing a monster for her. She smiles, you know, walks downstairs to the laundry room, tosses the doll inside. And she's doing dishes, her son runs back and forth with the sword playing, and he eventually wanders to the room with the doll in it. And he begins screaming in terror. And the mother runs to him. You find out the kid's name is Samuel, and she tells him to stop it. It's just a doll. She put it in there. And he shouts at her that he kicks her. And he goes on to say the doll says it'll eat him up. And shakes him and says, stop it. And, you know, it's funny, me watching this now that I'm going to be a mom soon. When I originally watched Babadook, the kid's just in the back seat. We all know the scene. And he's just like, ah! And she's like, why can't you be normal? I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, can we please, watching Babadook, I'm like, please let something eat this child. I don't want children to die in horror movies, but maybe make an exception with this young man because my God. This short, I'm like, hey now, you do not invalidate your child's concerns, okay? Your little boy is concerned that there is a monster in the closet, and your job as a good parent is to prove to him there is no monster in the goddamn closet. Help him fight the goddamn thing, okay? That is your job.
Period.
You are either going to, than another, you have to prove to your child there are no monsters, or that you're strong enough to fight the monsters. And kick its ass, okay? But you don't shake him. But you don't shake him and tell him to stop it. You use your words.
Be normal and slap him in the what?
Don't do that.
That's child abuse.
That's child abuse. So I'm just like, it's very interesting to see the difference from like old to getting close to having a child, you know? Because I feel like there's a lot of movies I watch that I'm like,
2 years ago, you open hand, slap that kid in the grip.
right! 2 years ago, I would have open hand slapped that child in the back seat. But okay, you said it was a monster? Alright.
Just kidding, she would never hit a child.
No. I would never hit a kid.
Grown ass person, dead in the mouth, no problem.
But then speaking of that, I kind of wonder and worry about like watching horror movies dying them, or like baby corpses, because I'm just like it never bothered me before, but
there goes Human Centipede 2.
Yeah, I'm like never bothered me before, but am I gonna be watching like the first 5 of Masters of Horror? Because there's like baby deaths in all of them. Am I gonna start bawling when Gabe gets run over?
I still that one.
In fucking.
I don't know why I laughed.
What movie is that?
I have children tonight.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Pet Cemetery. Am I gonna start laughing? Am I gonna be like sobbing about that?
Just remember what he does at the end with the
Achilles heel.
Now you're like hit him with a bus.
Hit him with a bus.
Hit him with a bus, a semi, and a forklift. I don't give a shit. That shit hurt.
Yeah, like that. I try to avoid those kind of things.
Help a cat eat his eye out too. Remember that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, which is weird because I can't remember what. Yeah. At any rate, like I don't know how I'm gonna be because now I do this thing, which is great. I don't know if I'm the only pregnant person who's done this. I'm sure I'm not. But I literally start crying when babies cry now. I was at work the other day and I heard a kid crying in the stall next to me in the bathroom, and I'm texting my husband. I'm like, I can't come out right now. He's like, what's wrong, sweetie? I'm like, there's a baby crying and I can't do anything about it. And he's like, you're gonna be okay. I'm like, whoo.
No, I'm not. Everything's dying.
Whoo. And so we got myself coffee at Starbucks, and I
Usher you to the door.
and I told my husband, I'm like, it sucks so bad today, dude. Like, I've heard so many babies cry, and I see them walking by, and I know, parents, they and everything like that. And my first, I know, I don't have one, but I want to help. And if I fuck this up, they don't start crying. Well, it's because I'm a kid. Just have it back. But I need to hold him and I need to protect it. I don't know if any other pregnant person has ever gone through that, but it's weird. I don't like it. But whatever. So anyway, she shakes her son and tells him to stop it. And she whispers something to him, and I couldn't make out what it was because
Probably I would kill you.
doesn't have captions on everything.
Something probably along the line. Fucking kick your ass.
Yeah. And the next scene is she's giving him a bath. Okay.
Yeah.
She heads to the. My husband saying what it was. It was probably like, the whispered mom threat. We all know the whispered mom threat.
The one through the teeth.
The one through the teeth where
Like
mom's smiling, but it's something so comical.
It's sinister as fuck. I fucking end your soul, you
Yeah.
bastard.
Exactly, something.
Your dad cried when he finds out what I did to you.
Yeah.
Shut up.
But,
I'll give you something to really cry about.
oh my god!
That's
Okay, who remembers that growing up? Who remembers that growing up? I feel like there's a whole generation of us who don't talk about it, but the whole stop crying, I'll give you a reason to cry. There's so many people right now, and I'm so sorry if I triggered anybody by saying that phrase, but I know there's a lot of us who are up with that phrase. I want you to know it's okay now. You're safe. That's all I could say.
Ain't nobody hurt you now.
No one can hurt you now except for yourself, if you want to.
And don't do that.
But don't.
There's ways.
Get help. But I'm just saying, we've all gone through it. Most of us have. There's a whole generation of us who have gone through that phrase. Anyways, that was what the fuck she said. So, she's giving him a bath, and she heads to the closet to get some towels out for him. And there's a jump scare with the monster.
Yeah.
And to double check, the monster is gone. She goes on to read a bedtime story to her son and is distracted by a noise. It's not the Babadook pop-up book. I just want to make that clear. It is a short story, and she to her son. She hears a noise, and she goes to his bedroom door and opens it. And the monster runs up the stairs quickly. And her son shrieks, causing her to close the door. She tells him it's okay.
It's alright.
And begins to slowly open the door. And he calls out to her again, and you can clearly see he's mouthing, "It's under the bed." But she, ignores him, and just looks out the bedroom door. She's just like... at him and is like, uh-huh. Alright, cool. Looks out the bedroom door and starts walking out of it. And the minute she walks out, her son begins screaming, "Mommy!" The lights turn off in his room, and she rushes back in, turning the lights on, and the monster is standing there. And it shrieks and goes after the boy. The mother starts screaming at the monster to leave the boy alone and go back to its room. This creature is what would become the Babadook. And it's built very similar to the final creature. Missing is the masculine-looking face / build on it, and a top hat. She continues screaming at the monster. Very creepy creature.
I love it.
Very.
It looks.
But yeah, this creature, they're, like I said, they're very similar looking. But one of the creature in this one seems more feminine built. Whereas
It's a little more spidery.
More spidery, yeah, definitely more like a spider-like creature.
Creepy crawly.
Creepy crawly. More like a daddy legs build as far as spider. Whereas one in the movie,
solid body.
Really made me think it was more masculine in design. Plus, like I said, the top hat. She continues to scream at the monster and says if it comes back without her permission, the monster slinks away and hides itself in the closet. The mother and the son end up snuggling to sleep in bed. The next morning, she wakes before her son and prepares breakfast, and she leaves a glass of milk outside the closet door for the monster. The film ends. I did note that unlike Saw .5, this movie was a more condensed version of the full film.
Which means she was keeping it as a pet.
Which was probably monster in the closet as of the story. And if I remember Babadook, she ends up trapping the titular Babadook in the shed or the basement or something, and she feeds it. So, so yeah, that was the Babadook. I was going to talk about Grace, which is a short film that became a full movie, Grace, about the zombie baby. But I didn't get commentary, so that sucks. So if you've got a copy of the short film Grace, without the commentary anywhere, I would love to see it. I met at my parents' house this last week. I forgot. I'll be honest with you, I was distracted with like my mother about baby stuff to actually care about in my old room for that movie. Cause my mom's excited grandchild, not, a creature. That she has to shave periodically. She's pretty excited about it. So, I feel like I could get a pat like posting. So, I don't know what we're talking about next week yet, but we are going to talk about something. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm doing a video week until I go into labor. So, if for some reason you don't see me posting new content live on Twitch, I have to assume that is what has happened. So. I go in tomorrow for a doctor's appointment. It's going to be fun. I don't know if it's going to be fun. But they're doing like a non-stress test on me. Looking up like little things, I can hear his heartbeat and watch him chill out for 20 minutes. I'll be honest, like sometimes he moves around a lot in 20 minutes, and other times he's just like, whatever. It just depends. Usually first thing in the morning he moves around a lot, and late at night when I'm reading to him he moves around a lot. Like right now with me doing the show, just chilling. Good kid. Don't have much else to say tonight. Be nice to yourselves. Make sure you're being kind to others. Do know that if you have boundaries and you've set boundaries and people disrespect those boundaries, they're probably not your friend. Okay? If they feel like your boundaries are an attack on them, then they're probably not good people to be around. So keep your fucking boundaries. Yeah. Yeah. And I understand that sometimes it can really like disrespect a long time, but do what's best for you, and if they're really your friend, they're going to understand that, and they're going to try to be better. All I can say about that. I can say much more. I'm not a psychologist, a therapist, but I just have been through a lot of shit. I'll watch some really good horror movies, I don't know what's now. I'm excited about Hellraiser. Yeah. I know, like, there's a lot of haters for Hellraiser movies, and it's not a new one. The original about it, or at least it's telling us it's original. But I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I've seen photos of the actress who plays the new Pinhead. She looks gorgeous. The only thing that I really had to complain about with the photo that I've seen of her is the way they've done the puzzle box. And I know that's so like, how do I put what's the word I'm looking for? so minuscule, but it's like, it's the puzzle box, you know? There's certain things that you just don't fuck with iconically. The fucking orbs in Phantasm. The design of Freddy Krueger's claw hand. In Michael Myers' mask, which they tend to fuck up. Every movie he's got a different one. But yeah, there's certain things that you just don't really mess with. And I saw the new design of the puzzle box, and I'm just like, okay.
Boring.
Like, first off, I wouldn't even want to touch that.
It's silver. It looks like it's itself.
Yeah, it's the box itself. Okay, so like, to have the puzzle box on my chest, okay? And yeah, a lot of people look at it and they're like, what the fuck is that? And I had one person think it was like something to do with lions. No, it's a calendar kind of, and like, no, it's Hellraiser. And then they look at it and they tilt their head a couple of times and I'm like yeah. Yeah, I've got I'm like, it's not standard done to where it's the box. It's when it's mid-transformation. And I've got the puzzle box. And this new one is very, like my husband said, it's silver looking. It almost looks like it's just solid wood. And yeah, that was the thing that upset me. I'm more upset about the way that looks than I could ever be about the way the new actress looks playing Pinhead.
Hey, she's gotta be better than the last two.
Oh yeah.
Killing would be better than the last two.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's that.
Yeah. That's a point.
That they sucked.
The last two Halloween movies, yeah, they didn't have Doug Bradley in the titular role as Pinhead. And there was one of them who I was just like, I don't know the actor's name. I'm sure he was a decent enough actor, but a role that's supposed to be so sexually charged as Pinhead, and I'm gonna say it, like, I firmly believe that is supposed to be like a very sexual creature. All the Cenobites.
That's what I tell people.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the books, the Cenobites are supposed to be bringers of pleasure and pain. You know, there is a price to pay when you call them. You get some you've ever had in your entire life. That's why a lot of people seek the box. You are going to get pleasures that you have never known. You will never, ever know after that point. But you also get pain that you have never experienced before. They will take your soul and your body and they will push you to the limits with it. And that's what they're supposed to do. But what I was going to say about that is there's this individual Pinhead in one of the more recent movies. He wasn't a good fit.
No.
He wasn't a good fit. As best I put it, and I'm not trying to be insulting if you like the character or not, but it was like, you have Doug Bradley, which is like standard, the bar. And you have this guy coming in, and they're like, hey, how would you Walmart brand version of Pinhead? People are like, I want to say no, but I'm intrigued that you could. And they show this man. And you're like, my eyes. Never scrubbed them as hard as I scrubbed them now.
There's not enough acid.
There's not enough. And it's from The Simpsons. Homer is crusty, and he kills. The Hamburglar character. Well, I don't know if he kills him, but he beats him up.
Him. He
literally. Yeah, he's like, oh, stop! We're still in the burger. And the little kid, he's dead. Stop! He's dead. You've already killed him. It's okay. Every time I watch wrestling now, and they bring out Butch,
He's getting his name back.
Oh, my husband said he's getting his name back. His real.
His old gear.
My husband said they put him in his old gear and he's getting his name back. But for the longest time, when he was being called Butch, on WWE, I would watch it and I'd be like, to my boy. They massacred Jonathan just like I know. He's like, just a bee, he's already dead. Oh, man. It's my favorite thing to do when I watch wrestling is to do that. Favorite thing to do is to get really angry when certain wrestlers are winning. Ever.
I mean, it's good product.
Says product when I get mad at it. He's like, do this, sweetheart. He's like, if you get angry because the fucking heel's winning, it's because he's doing his goddamn job. And I'm like, oh, I hate him even more. Like, how dare you? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know why you told me this. This makes me sad. So enough wrestling, enough talking about the new Hellraiser movie. I just wanted to say, yeah, be safe, watch some good movies, stay spooky. Do you have anything to say, honey?
Nope, I'm cool.
Alright, my husband has nothing to say about it either. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I hope that if you're watching on YouTube, last show. If you don't, well, then I don't know what to tell you. And if your complaint is that there's too much video lag, I don't know what to tell you about that either. And if you don't like the fact that I went on 10, my show. Love you guys. Super excited y'all are watching me, but my show.
Fun.
We're here to have fun.
Flat out.
Flat out have fun. Talk about horror movies and life. And if you don't like it, then don't watch it now, alright?
Stop having sticks up your butt.
Stop having sticks. My husband said stop having sticks up your butt. I say if you enjoy having sticks up your butt, and that is a personal preference of yours, I'm not going to judge you on that. My husband might. You know what?
Smoother, yo.
Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe just get something a little bit smoother to go up there because it won't hurt as bad. I don't know. But yeah, be kind to yourselves. And if that's the way you go, that's the way you go. I'm not gonna tell you no, you know? I'm like, stay freaky. You stay real freaky. It's cool. I applaud it. I support it. Stay spooky. And I will see you all next week.